Hey, everybody, and welcome to Get Paid, Get Paid, Get Paid. I can never figure out how to do this.
Me
Anyway,
either. Good
happy
morning.
Thursday. Good morning, everyone. And today, we wanted to, there's been so much since May, right, Deb? Like, it's just been kind of overwhelming in some sense. The attention to making sure that the workplace is diverse. There's equity, there's equity in the practice and inclusivity. And it's heightened, right? I think we were here maybe in 2016, and then it kind of died down. And then after this horrible May 2020 that we had, with George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and all these other things that were just horrendous, the focus was on, wait a minute, Black Lives Matter. There's not enough diversity in corporate America. We don't see people of color. We don't see women in the higher ranks of these companies. What are you going to do? And corporations were getting called out, like left and right. They were getting called out by the 15%, and that's kind of a random number. But people were still like, oh, we have to do something. Let's put our numbers out there. And they put their numbers out there and they're like, oh, we're doing good. But they were doing good in the individual contributor, right? And so if you looked at retail companies or any company that had an entry level or a distribution center, they were doing well in that space. They just didn't. They weren't doing so well once you got past that first rung. And so we wanted to talk about what could those workplaces do to really make a change? Like, what could be so innovative and disruptive that there really could be a change? Because I see a lot of the same being done where people are being interviewed, but they're not getting the jobs, and a lot of D&I leadership placement yesterday all over LinkedIn and social media. The Diversity Woman magazine posted a beautiful cover of all of these beautiful and talented women who are in the D&I space, and they're so talented, and they go at it from their heart and want to make a difference. But I wonder if they're given the tools or the support once they get into the corporation to really make a difference, or if they are another checkbox. So we're going to explore all of that in this new series of where our corporations pass. And it's been several months since May. Where are the corporations? Who's doing it right? Who needs some help? And today we're going to talk about that. So today we're going to talk about the aha that Deborah shared with me yesterday. So, okay, Deborah, let's share it with our listeners.
Yeah, well, I just also want to say, just in relation to what you just said, is, all these years that we've both been in corporate roles for many, many, many years. And there have been times throughout the years where this subject has come up and then it's kind of gone away, and it's come up and it's gone away. And I've been part of that in terms of diversity training and other activities and strategies, and that never really seemed to fully stick. Or to your point, at the right levels. And it did feel last year like there seemed to be more of a sea change. Like it felt like more was happening. It felt like more people, everybody was sort of together on this. And companies, at least talked the talk. And we're going to talk more about that in the coming weeks. But you're right. What are the actions that it takes to make that change? And this leads me to what happened yesterday. I was getting dressed and I was on our new favorite app, Clubhouse.
I love it.
I know. And, we're still exploring it. But for those of you who might not have heard about it yet, it's an audio app that allows you to almost like envision popping into a huge conference where you could go into any room where there are speakers and you could join in and listen to a talk from any of the speakers on a variety of topics at any time. It's on all the time. Or if you want, you could even do some speaking yourself. So it's a really interesting app. And I jumped into a room yesterday morning that was something about recruiting. So it was a lot of recruiters. And since I haven't experienced recruiting, I thought it would be interesting to hear what recruiters were talking about. And as we're having the conversation, I sort of look down at my phone and I see all these pictures of people, but some of them are emojis and some of them are cartoon pictures or avatars. They're not all people's actual faces. And it made me think, what would it be like if we interviewed people without seeing them? So we interviewed people blindly using some type of audio app to really get to the heart of who they are and what their skills are without having sort of the filters and biases and unconscious thoughts that go on when we actually see people, whatever those are. It could be about their age, it could be about their race, it could be about how, if they're big or small or tall or whatever those biases might be that we might not be aware of. And I just thought, wow, I wonder how you could use an app like this to potentially have conversations with potential candidates and get to a place where you had a relationship with somebody based on who they were, how they presented themselves, and what they did and their competencies before you even saw them. And anyway, so I said that to you yesterday, and we decided we'd talk about it.
I loved it because, you know, they do it for entertainment, right? They do it with voice. That's what that was all about, right? Like, let's see, how do we pick a singer based solely on their voice, right? Because pop music had become so much about what the, you know, do you have the look, right? Are people going to be attracted to you? And oh,
like
you
American Idol, right?
You can't sing. Oh, no problem. We'll just tune you up, right? So, but you can't do that in real life, right? And so we have, we also talked about that we have the masked singer, right? And so I thought that the idea was brilliant and said, how if you could, if we could create a system of interviewing where all the hiring manager saw was, this is candidate A, this is candidate B, this is candidate C, and they talked to them just based on their experience. Like, and it was really just experience. It didn't even have to do with the brands that they worked with, because on paper you can create something that in reality there could be so much more, right? Because people are more than just the companies they've worked for or the roles that they've held, right? What did you take away from that role, right? What makes you who you are? Because that is the heart of diversity. You and I can go into the same company, same role, and because we are different people, we could walk out with very different experiences, put into a new workplace and applied differently, you have different outcomes. And so I thought it was a brilliant idea. And I actually, we have some people who are watching and they agree. They think it's brilliant, right? You know, Carolyn said Clubhouse is so much fun. She says ridiculously fun, but insanely busy. And it is insanely busy. But if you could take something about that software and create an app, you know, I don't, if someone's out there and they see us and they think that's a great idea and you do it, we get 10%.
That's right. That's right. I think it's just having the ability to really hone in on what's important and create a connection. Because I think once you know somebody, those biases go away anyway. So it's how do you create the connection based on a person's capabilities? That's what's important in the job, right? At the end of the day. And I agree. I wish, and maybe there is, but it would be great. And I love your idea about even taking the brands out of it, because I know that even in my recruiting role, when I used to present candidates to clients, they always wanted people from the same brands, that whatever was hot right now, not really caring if somebody who is in a less perhaps sexy brand of the moment had the better skill set and had done some really interesting and innovative work in a brand that maybe wasn't as great right now. And trying to get them over that hump or explain to them that just because a person came from X brand made them great was like half the job sometimes. And I think, to your point, that really shouldn't be the driver. It should really be, what is that person going to take from their past and be able to bring into the future to your company? And that's where we get stuck.
Yeah, we do get stuck. I mean, you and I know, I was telling you were in this journey with me where I was interviewing with a really popular company. And I think I had 15 interviews, and oh, you're the one. And I had another interview and they asked me a question and said, well, who do you think right now is getting it right? And I said, well, I think Nike's done a very good job of doing blah, 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 blah. 2 days later, I got a call. We've decided we want to pursue candidates from Nike, right? Like, it's like so ridiculous because it's like, oh, okay, well, the only reason I knew about that is because I know how to get it done. So I could tell you who's doing it right. But good luck. Thank you very much, right? Who knows what else went into that decision that, oh, now it's Nike. But to your, that's why I think it's really not about the brand. It's about the person, right? Because it's what they take away from that experience. So, well, we have a lot to do today. So this is going to be a short session. Deb, what do you think the bottom line is to this?
I think the bottom line is, until there is some sort of app or software or some way to do this blindly, I think it's important that before you interview somebody, that you really take the time to prepare for that interview. Sit down, look at the person's resume, which a lot of people really don't do, honestly. Look at the resume, pull out the things that are of interest and of relevance to the job that you're hiring for, and focus there first. Try not to let impressions, thoughts, biases, and things get in your way of really looking at the person's background and asking questions and getting answers about that, because that will drive the best hire.
Thank you very much. So, that was a great point, and it made me make a note. So I'm going to go back to the note in a minute. But before we go, we are going to continue our conversation on Clubhouse. You'll see Deb Schwartzfarb and Kimberly Miner on Clubhouse. We'll be there in like 3 minutes. And then if you are a developer for software or apps, you know how to find us. We're ready to create this app. So we don't know how to create the apps, but we know how to get this done. So be in touch. Deb?
Yes. Yep. And next week, join us. We are going to be continuing this series, looking at organizations. What have they been up to since May? What have they been doing, not doing, that they said they were going to do, or which ones are surprising us in a great way? So we'll be having a guest. Sheena Foley will be joining us. She has lots of corporate experience and lots of great opinions, and we're going to be so happy to host her. So we hope to see you next Thursday at 11 a.m.
Bye, everyone. Take care. Hopefully,
bye. Have a good day.
Bye.
Be on Clubhouse. Bye-bye.